Good evening, it's Brian here at Fitzpatrick's Garage, Dublin Road, Kildare. I want to show you this car here, which is a 2013 Honda Accord 2.2i-DTEC Type S. Brian is my name. If there's any information you want on this particular car or any of the cars we have, call, text, WhatsApp, whatever suits, 086 843 1945. Accords are cool. They unfortunately do not supply this car to Europe anymore, so really nice Accords with low mileage, I have to say, are starting to get a bit scarce. A lot of people in Europe, they seem to have migrated towards buying SUVs, like we'll say the Tucson over here and the Kona and stuff like that, and that has meant that the saloon car market is dwindling a bit, and with that then some of these big luxury saloons are getting a bit more seldom. I think a lot of people in Ireland always liked the Accord. They were an expensive car. This car was 36,250 euros when it was brand new. And I suppose a lot of the people that bought them, they bought them to drive them. So now when you're looking at like a 2013 or 12 or 14 or whatever it is, the mileage is usually pretty high on them. So there's not too many left around with nice low mileage. This one's done about 87,000 kilometers. So the first owner that had the car, we actually traded it in from the very first owner. He bought at the time a brand new Honda HR-V from us, and that was back in 2017. And then the second owner that bought the car, he traded it in just recently now and bought his partner actually, and what I would classify as a Honda enthusiast. They've had it for the last 2 years, so it's been well looked after. So two private owners from brand new with about 86 or 87,000 kilometers, so I think that's pretty desirable on a 2013 Honda Accord. So I'm going to run through the car in terms of features on the car, and then we're going to have a bit of a drive in the car as well. And hopefully this car is of interest. As I was saying, if there's anything you want to know, 086 843 1945. We are Fitzpatrick's Garage, Dublin Road, Kildare. So obviously we do Honda, we do Hyundai, we do Mercedes, nice Pagoda, and we also do servicing for Toyota and Lexus. So it's a family-run business in operation for almost 70 years. So if you know, well, if you're going to be buying a nice car like this, you know there's going to be an after-sales service with it. So let's start off by having a bit of a drive in the car. The car's only come in, so we haven't had a chance to do any work to it yet. This is literally how it's come in. Previous owners would have been pretty fussy in terms of keeping the car clean and stuff like that, so they've done a good job looking after it. 86,615 kilometers on the car at the moment. So anyway, first of all, what's nice is the steering wheel is straight. As I'm driving, the steering wheel is dead straight. I really like that in a car because it means somebody was bothered to actually keep the car tracked and stuff like that. In terms of the gearbox, so there's 6 forward gears in these cars. Every gear feels pretty sweet, going back, up, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, yep, everything feels pretty good along there. The brakes feel good. Again, we do have to get into our workshop and see exactly what they're like, but I do know the previous owner had said to me he'd recently replaced brakes, so they feel quite good. And then after that, let's go down a back road actually and see what it's like. So back into second, and oh yeah, it's so long since I drove a big diesel engine car, because we're so used to 1.6s and stuff like that now. You actually take for granted 4th gear, there's still a good bit of torque in it. The drive's really nice, suspension feels good. Again, 86, 87,000 kilometers, you'd expect the car to be in, I suppose, correct operating parameters for that kind of mileage, but car feels very nice. Along here there's a bit of a twisty section up through here, so we'll see how it behaves on those. Cruise control down through here, everything works that way. Bluetooth, we'll check that in a little while. Radio, heating controls, all that kind of stuff. And just looking around the car, my impression actually is when I'm sitting in this dash and cabin area, it's all quite nice condition. Just at a glance, I don't see anything that catches my eye that's bad. So yeah, suspension, steering, yeah, it all feels nice. Cords are big and wide, feels good on the road. Anyway, let's see what it's like for acceleration. So we're going to head back towards town. Nothing coming. So first gear, second gear, 3rd gear. God, I'd forgotten how good these are to drive. 4th gear. Yeah, such a nice car. By my surprise to work in a Honda garage, but we don't get these that much anymore, that's the thing, so when you do get into them, it's a nice surprise. So for anyone that's curious about acceleration on these cars, let's start from 0. And not being hard in the car. for anyone that is considering this car, I think it is fair to say that mechanically, I think it drives really well. Again, we'll get into our workshop and check it over, but from what I can see there, steering, brakes, gearbox, all good. And as I was saying to you, the cabin, just as, again, I'm only glancing around, I'm not examining it really closely right now, but everything feels and looks really good. So I think it's been well looked after. I think it's a good example of one. Anyway, we're going to go back into the workshop because the wind is going at about 1,000,000 miles an hour outside, so the camera only produces wind noise unless I go into the workshop here. So I know it's not as bright as I'd like it to be, but it's just a bit windy right now. But yeah, drives really good. So the engine in these cars is a 150 horsepower setup. Those i-DTEC engines run on a chain, so it is a non-serviceable item. You don't ever have to change it. To give you an idea though, see the way even it's got a tower bar, which is basically adding reinforcement from one strut onto the other, one shock tower onto the other. Basically, that is to give you more reinforcement and sturdiness and stiffness. In other words, for somebody that likes driving, they'll get more feedback than they would in a car without that. Just to show you, this is exactly how the car was maintained on the inside. We haven't cleaned this engine bay or anything like that. This is exactly how it is. In terms of, we'll say, I find a lot of Accords, as they get a bit mileagey, this gets a bit rusty. And as you can see on this one, it is not rusty at all. Areas along here are nice and dry, even around where oil is filled and stuff like that. So it's a nice tidy engine bay overall. And things that contribute to that basically are the previous owner was fussy, he looked after the car, and the other thing as well is the mileage is low, so that's why you get a nice tidy engine bay like that, because it just hasn't had time or mileage to accumulate a lot of dirt overall. Right, things that I think are worth mentioning on the front of the car: this is a big chrome grille along the front, as you can see, and that is matched by these silver chrome fog light surrounds. So we have dipped headlights in through here, full headlights in through here, fog lights down through there, and I like on this year of car that they didn't have an orange indicator. Well, it is orange, the bulb, but we'll say they hid it by having a clear indicator lens at the front. Type S's always have this little spat along the front, which makes it lower to the ground and a little bit more aggressive looking on either side as well. Those wheels are diamond cut. Now, I stand to be corrected on it. I was never aware that diamond cut was standard. So what I mean by diamond cut is that kind of shiny, reflective finish. Any of the Accords that we had through, because these cars come from the factory with a 16-inch alloy wheel. And the main reason, by the way, for the 16-inch alloy wheel was, it wasn't, we'll say, that they just chose to put 16s. To bring the car into the country, it actually made more sense with 16-inch wheels. It brought it into a lower emissions criteria. So all these Type S's actually came in with a 16-inch alloy wheel. But on that size of a car, it's not big enough. So some people, but not everyone, upgraded into 17-inch wheels. But the good point of that is the road tax is €280 for the year on a car like that. But a lot of people chose to upgrade onto 17-inch wheels just to fill out the arches. Now, my experience of this is anyone that had them in that style of 5-spoke wheel, they came in, but it was more of a silver wheel. And I remember seeing this car at the start when I was looking, I was going, they're diamond cut, and it actually is really nice. It looks really well overall. So it might be unique to this car, but I stand to be corrected on it. Anyway, another cool thing from the key is I can pop the boot. And the reason I'm linking this to the wheels is this car has a spare wheel. These cars don't normally come with a spare wheel, so the first owner, he specified to put a spare wheel in the car. Now, we haven't cleaned the boot or anything like that yet. So the first owner specified to have a spare wheel put in the car, which is dead handy as well. Over here, these are just little bits of oil and even a diesel filter, which the previous owner left. Previous owner did the servicing on his car himself, whereas the first owner went to a main dealer, and there is a service history for the first owner when he had it. Second owner did it himself. Down through here, the first owner had specified a tow bar, which we have removed the ball and socket from. Car looks really, really smart overall in black. In terms of, and you might see just from here the way that's kind of got that shiny sort of effect on the wheels, and it complements those chrome door handles as well as all the chrome around the windows. In terms of the rear of the car, again, I will stress we have not cleaned this car. I repeat, we have not cleaned this car yet. So that door card there is in quite nice condition. I'm just going to move around to the other door and we'll see what that door card is like. So I would describe that to be in nice condition overall. Seats are a bucket style seat in the back, with a half leather setup. So the 3 head restraints are leather. The half sections peripherally along here are leather, centre sections leather, other section over there as well. There's a big old armrest in the centre in through there as well. And then there is 3 3-point safety belts. There's also kangaroo pocket over here. And in terms of size, the Accord is quite big, so I am 6 foot. So how would it sit in the car is quite comfortably. And then you'll see the way the seat kind of curves forward to accommodate my legs in through here as well. So when I'm sitting in the back of the car, this is exactly the view that I have overall. So continuing on looking at the car, one thing I forgot to mention actually is a Type S. Remember we were saying there's a little skirt at the front of the car? They also have a little skirt down the side of the car. Moving onto the inside of the car, there is proper Accord floor mats. I like this big pedal, big aluminium pedals. It reminds me of something like Sega Rally or something like that, but they're quite comfortable and easy to use. As you can see, they're in nice condition throughout. So, most worn seat in a car is always going to be the driver's seat. So the bolster along there looks quite nice and tidy, as does this one over here. The seats, again, are quite a large sort of bucket seat, and that's one thing I see in cars they're not doing so much anymore. This top section seems to be almost getting less, how would you say, support up here. Not sure why that is, but these are big, comfortable seats with lots of support on either side. In terms of the inside of the car, Type S's came with nice red clocks into there, and actually they also had, they had really loud radios. No, they had really nice red lighting also down in the footwell as well. So when you're getting into a Type S, you know you're getting into something a little bit different. Anyway, over through here, fuel is in through there. I can use, if I'm sitting in the car, this is exactly what I see. So I got my nice big clocks in front of me, radio and information for climate controls over through there, radios down through there, climate control buttons are here, 6-speed gearboxes over here, and then in through there I've got an armrest with some storage, and also you can't see it there right now, it's a little bit dark, but USB connector in through there, drinks holders in through here. Oh, and Asma, I'm going to have to ring him about that. After that then you have your 6 4-gear gearbox, non-smoking vehicle. After that then we'll say lighting in here for air conditioning, front and rear windscreen demisters which also demist the wing mirrors, dual zone climate control. In through there then is our radio CD setup which also links to the USB that we're talking about, and then up through there is display for things like, we'll say, the radio volume and also the climate control if I manipulate it over through there. Bluetooth is off the steering wheel over here, which is voice activated. In through here is radio controls. Over here then is cruise control, and down through here then is information manipulation of this in through here, which is telling me how much fuel I have, fuel consumption. After that then we'll say current fuel consumption, mileage on the car and all that kind of stuff, average speed. So the car is currently reading 7.7 litres per 100 kilometres, but I had left it ticking over and I just went out the road and probably drove it a little bit hard. So normally I'm going to say to people, if they ask me what will this car do, 7-ish litres per 100 kilometres, that's kind of where you're going to be with something like that. And that is somewhere in the region of 40 miles per gallon. It is a 2.2 diesel saloon vehicle with some power like that. I think that's a reasonable fuel efficiency level to expect. Just in terms of condition on the passenger side of the car, this door card over here, like the driver's one, is in good condition, and this seat over here is in good condition. And on a Type S, you had a height adjustable, oops, I'll take this out of the way. You had a height adjustable passenger seat, and your driver's seat was height adjustable. And what's also on them is, as well, there's a little lever on both sides in through here. And what that does is it gives you lumbar support for lower back on this side and lumbar support for lower back on the other side. Like I was saying to you when I was out on the drive, there's nothing really that stood out to me on the car in terms of condition of the inside that just looked really nice overall. Anyway, I think that's most of it. The car is going to be supplied with a service. It's going to be supplied with a warranty. The NCT, I'm going to have to check. The NCT is about 3 or 4 months, but by the time I suppose it sells, we'll be able to get the NCT done. But right now, NCT is 8/19, which is August. Yeah, I should be able to get it NCT'd, and if not, we'll do a guarantee on the NCT anyway. So what we're saying, I suppose, is overall you'll be picking up a car serviced, warranted, NCT sorted. If there's any information you want in the car, please do give me a call. If you have a trade and you want to find out about what it's worth or anything like that, 086 843 1945. If you want to find out about finance, 086 843 1945. Brian is my name. Fitzpatrick's Garage, our main Honda dealer in Kildare town. Anyway, hopefully the video has been useful to anyone that's interested in the car. Thank you for taking time to watch.